You know what? I love to be the one to tell it. Yes, I do. As an addict, I do this for educational purposes. Did you guys know that sipping on that lean is an opioid? Means, if I'm not mistaken, during my studies as a dope fiend and even as a student of addictions counseling, I've come under the studies of many forms of drugs. And if I'm not mistaken, when you intake liquid opioids, that's what it is, because codeine is considered an opioid. In other words, it comes from the poppy seed, the same seed that creates heroin. It's the same seed. You pick up not only highly addictive characteristics, not only is it highly addictive, but it also has psychological addictions and psychological behaviors modified according to your dosage. Now, in this era of surveillance and attention seeking, you see a lot of people making a fool of themselves on the internet. It's very difficult to carry out business ventures, to push your brand, to push your music when you're under the influence of liquid heroin. I'm going to call it liquid heroin because that's what it is. Again, you can look it up and study it yourself. I do this for educational purposes. The reason why I say that, and this is just my opinion, is because you need to be very attentive. You need to be sharp, and you need to be disciplined in order to push your brand, push your music, push your LLC, so on and so on, etc. And with this highly addictive controlled substance comes levels of addiction, levels of tolerance, should I say, with it. And like I said, in this era, under my addiction, I did an upper, and I used to try to be in the closet with it, try to be as discreet as I can. But at the same time, as a brand, I was trying to push my brand. I was projecting my addiction through the public. Now, I'm not saying that you can't perform at a high level. I'm not saying none of that, because temporarily you can. Push your brand, do your music, do your acting, draw, whatever you do, until you start intaking and carrying a tolerance for this highly addictive drug. I'm going to call it a drug. People think it's recreational. They got a misunderstanding of what lean is. You know, you see Lil Wayne, you see what happened to Rick Ross, you see all these guys using this substance. And with that being said, you're just as a dope fiend, as a crackhead, as a meth head, as a heroin addict. You fall right under the same category as every other dope fiend around you. Even if you dress cute, got a nice chain, got a nice ring, nice grill, got perfume, that don't cover up the psychological behaviors that project out when you're under the influence of this drug. Again, say no to drugs. Now, I had family members, I know people and friends and peers that were heroin addicts. Okay? I don't care what form it is addictive. It turns into morphine when it hits the liver. And there is psychological and physical addictions that come with this usage of this dope. And a lot of people are using it for recreation, using it to make themselves look cool when they're doing their music, when they're doing their videos, when they're doing their content, and it projects out. Ain't nothing cute about it. Ain't nothing gangster about it. It really ain't. Again, I tell you this. You are a dope fiend. Whether you're in denial or whether you admit it, what you need to do is get off the dope by any means necessary and carry on to push your brand. And that's my advice, to push your brand, to continue to move the way you need to move, because it can put a hold on your talent. It can limit your talent and your skill when you're under the influence, bro. Say no to drugs, brother. God bless.